In my sport, I'm very familiar with competing in short, intense bouts of 15 to 25 minutes. So adapting to the life of a Clipper Ocean racer has been very, very different for me. With my usual competition being mixed martial arts, it's very important in the modern day of the sport to be an all-rounder, to have every base covered, at least in some capacity. And it's very much the same on an ocean racing vessel. We have to be able to do every job. When I wake up in the morning, the first shift starts at 6 a.m. Get out of bed in a daze, kind of gather my things together, and usually I can't face breakfast at that time in the morning. Most people are sat around the galley eating, but I tend to just grab a piece of fruit, put it in my pocket, get the life jacket on, and get up on deck as soon as possible to try and wake myself up a little bit. Shifts are rather unpredictable. You never really know what you're going to face when you get up. A lot of sail trimming, adjusting of ropes and sheets and that kind of thing. Other times we've got a weather change, so we have to change the sails, we have to start moving things around, getting things up from the sail locker, be comfortable and be awake and be prepared to get the work done. Just resetting the anti-wrap net because we've jibed and the spinnaker's now on the port side of the boat. The morning shift finishes at midday. By this point, the other watch is already up and they've had their dinner. We have a handover, so we explain what's changed on the boat, you know, what ropes are on, what winches, and the skipper also comes onto deck and gives us a little bit of a brief, usually about weather and position changes and kind of what to expect. Obviously, you get a lot of physical exercise on the boat anyway, what with all the manual jobs that we have to do. But for me, it's very important to make sure I'm making up all of those areas that I'm missing with other exercises and maintaining that flexibility as well. And then after that, it's basically to bed if you can sleep. The last few days have been very, very hot. The bunk's on an angle, so you know sometimes you feel like you're going to roll out of the bunk and you have to hold on. And whenever you get a brief moment to rest, when you're off shift, you've got to get a hold of it and make the most of it. The evening shift is one of my preferred shifts. The benefit is that now the sun's starting to set, so we get, you know, the temperature drops and the sky starts to change colour. We get some stars coming out, which is, you know, a real bonus in this journey for me. There are other dangers obviously involved. Visibility is low and you have to be really, really careful when you're going up onto the foredeck, always making sure that you're clipped on and you're in communication with the rest of your crew, so we know where everybody is at all times. Going to bed at 10 o'clock is obviously quite a natural sleep time for a lot of people, but then in the back of your mind you know that you're going to be woken up at 1:30 ready to start a 2 a.m. shift. The worst one for me is 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. I usually just kind of feel like death. When fatigue starts to set in, this is really when the race can slip away from you. You've always got to be switched on. You've always got to keep your eyes on the prize and remember that you're racing. If we let the speed of the boat drop by a couple of knots, we could be losing position very, very quickly overnight. We get to 6 a.m. and that is the end of a 24-hour period. Then we've got a few hours off. The opposite shift will then pick up our mirrored schedule, so they will do the hours that we did on the previous day. And that is really it. You know, it's a 24-hour race. We're going all the time, and there's not a moment to stop. There's not a moment to take your eyes off the prize, because ultimately we're here to win.